Hello, LinkedIn friends, your job seekers who have put that green circle open to work. And I'm here on Valentine's Day morning to be your ally. I will listen to your 3-minute HireMe speeches, and using my award-winning Toastmasters speaker speech evaluation training, I will give you instant feedback and support. It's not typical for you to be permitted to speak for 3 whole minutes in a monologue to a hiring manager. However, if you do have a beginning, middle, and end story that you can tell yourself and has a value proposition, so there's a call to action to the hiring manager to know why he or she should invite you to join the team, you have that in your back pocket. And that means in your 3 minutes, you could splice it to a minute, you could splice it into a 20-second clip. And this way you are prepared for any scenario. Everything that you say will support why the hiring manager should extend you a job offer. I look forward to seeing you in a few minutes. In the meantime, allow me to share my screen and I'll introduce you to 2 pretend profiles. Just in case you're wondering, I joined this Zoom because I am unclear what is a HireMe speech. Allow me to introduce you to Daron and Jasmine. Daron and Jasmine are fictional, but they're a great illustration. So Daron Jacobson works in software mainly. Daron is an expert marketer. He works with technology specifically for the bicycling industry. And so far, what he has is bicycle enterprise software should be promoting your mom and pop bike shop. Hire Daron, and he'll raise your revenue by 13% without alienating your local bike community. What is really good about his pitch? Just imagine with me that he's expanded this into a full 3 minutes for the whole group to hear. And I will pause, let the group think, and then I will use my evaluation expertise to comment. I would like to invite you to direct message me, the imaginary Daron. What do you see that is valuable in his HireMe speech that you would adopt? What are some things that you think could be strengthened? You have now experienced being an evaluator, and being in that position on the other side of the table helps you judge your own pitches as well. All right, here is my evaluation. Let's give Daron Jacobson a round of applause. Thank you so much, Daron, for joining us on Valentine's Day morning to practice your 3-minute HireMe speech. Daron, just looking at your LinkedIn profile and all of your accomplishments and how you quantified how you saved companies expenses and how you've boosted revenue from mom and pop to multi-billion-dollar companies makes me want to hire you. But I am in the position of being your evaluator. One of your strongest points is that you you're explicit with a pain point. You know from your experience that mom and pop bike shops are hesitant to use technology, especially apps, because they're afraid that their local rapport with the bike community will seem impersonal. And you say the word alienating. So you have announced something that is an objection. That is really strong. I really like it that you brand yourself as a bike tech pro. When people think of marketers, they don't usually think of the hard skills regarding technology. But in order for you to be well versed to talk about the benefits of an enterprise a business to business buying your services, you have demonstrated a career history of understanding in-depth technical language, but you've translated it in order to be able to make it really accessible, really conversational, anything but alienating. Now, after I have given you your strengths, I'd like to talk about some areas of improvement. And that's why we're here, correct? All of us would like to improve on our speeches. I can think of the following. If I were on the other side of the table evaluating you, I would wonder why you're aiming for the mom and pop when in your resume, you've worked for multi-billion-dollar businesses. I would like to hear one sentence or two why you're targeting mom and pops now. Is it because you know it'll be at 100% increase in app use because they have zero app use right now? Is that especially exciting to you? Give a reason. So that is the problem that I see. It's a sort of a plot hole, but one of the solutions is to give sentences on why you would like to specifically target mom and pop. The hiring manager might say, hey, Daron sounds too good to be true. Is he downshifting? Is he downgrading? Or is it a particular area that he can see growth? And he's particularly interested because his alternate dream career is to run a bike shop when he retires. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll sit down and we will talk about Jasmine in between waiting for your HireMe speeches. I want you to feel comfortable. So when I record this session, I will edit out all of the participants for today and only leave Daron and Jasmine because Daron and Jasmine are fictional. By listening to this feedback, you'll be able to adopt some of these best practices as well. And then we will have 30 seconds of silence where you think, and let's practice and treat Jasmine Monty as if she is on the Zoom. Jasmine Monty is a fictional character, much like Daron, but by listening to this pitch, the feedback, and having you practice critical thinking, if I were on the other side of the table, what are some plot holes I see? What are things left unsaid that's money on the table that Jasmine ought to take advantage of? I'll let you think for a moment because we have people dropping into the Zoom. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Renee Marchol, and I'm hosting the LinkedIn Valentine's Day morning HireMe Speech evaluation for the next 20 minutes. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Excellent. Make sure all of you who are interested follow the profiles of all of our participants today. As a reminder, though this session is recorded, you will be given privacy. Your name will not appear in a public attendance list. Also, you will not be recorded and broadcast across LinkedIn. This is a closed, confidential session, and the only profiles that you see are fictional profiles. All right, so again, I'm Renee Marchol. I'm your evaluator for the day, and I'm doing this as a leadership project. Thank you for joining me. Let's meet Jasmine Monty. All right, clap for Jasmine Monty. Good morning, Jasmine. Thank you for joining us on Valentine's Day morning for HireMe evaluations. Let's hear your pitch. And if all the participants will stay on mute and give this a think. Jasmine Monty is doing a pitch as HireMe as manager. The opening is for a manager who has patience to mentor. That's me. And this is why developing leaders from within has saved my past employers money. I'm going to stand for the evaluation of Jasmine Monty. Please give her a round of applause. We're doing this to model how this session will run. There will be a person giving a pitch. We will stop for a moment, type feedback, and then I will give formal feedback as the host and evaluator of the day. Please take 30 seconds to evaluate Jasmine. Thank you, and this will be my evaluation. Jasmine Monty, thank you so much for giving your HireMe speech. As we scroll through your LinkedIn profile, we can see your numerous accomplishments as supervisor, as onboarding leader, as coach, as board member, as advisory council director. All of these different nouns have shown that you do in fact mentor for your entire career, and you've done pro bono work to do this. That is very important that you say you are aware that hiring from within, developing existing employees and taking them to the next step of responsibility and competency saves the company money. There is lost time when there is downtime. There is cost associated with interviewing, hiring, needing to fire, especially if they're outsiders who don't already know the work culture of the brand. So I applaud you, Jasmine. Everyone, please applaud Jasmine. That's essential to point out. That is part of her value proposition. On the other side of the table, I would say, there are some plot holes. What are the possible plot holes for Jasmine's pitch? There's a plot hole very similar to the one for Daron. Daron targeted mom and pop future clients when he has worked for multi-billion-dollar companies within the bicycle industry, correct? Same thing for Jasmine Monty. Why is Jasmine choosing this particular tool from her toolbox and saying, I want to earn money for you, the company, as a mentor, and it will bring me personal satisfaction to be a mentor for my own professional development? So what am I saying? In a nutshell, why is Jasmine choosing a less lucrative role for herself when she has done other roles with her skill set? To be very frank, is she slumming? On the other side of the table, hiring managers will be wondering, she sounds perfect, maybe a little overqualified. Why is she choosing us? If an overqualified person chooses us, maybe they're only with us for 3 months and we don't have Jasmine to really fulfill her promise of developing our junior workers to become leaders in the company, taking on more responsibility, allowing senior managers to be able to delegate with confidence. What is Jasmine's answer? Jasmine can answer as follows. This is one suggestion, Jasmine. So we talked to Jasmine and Daron as if they were real. Jasmine, you don't have to answer on the spot. How have you connected mentorship and full use of your skill set? Is it, you could use a metaphor. You might use a sports analogy. You might say, think of the NFL. Think of Coach Dan Reeves and quarterback Elway. They've had a contentious relationship for decades. Maybe you will compare yourself to a different coach, one that wouldn't hold the quarterback back and that you would have no jealousy. Oh, some of you can see my bias regarding football. Jasmine can use that example, or can use something a little bit more friendly and surprising and might say, well, mentoring for me is like patting my head and rubbing my stomach at the same time. What does that mean? Patting my head and rubbing my stomach. Patting my head is that I find deep personal satisfaction in mentoring. She might say, I was a baseball player when I was in junior high. I will never forget my coach and how she propelled me to goals outside of athletics, right? That could be 1 or 2 sentences. Now, what's the pat in the head, rub the stomach? Rub the stomach is that Jasmine sees it as a legitimate and dignified way for her to earn money and fill your bellies as a company, meaning that revenue, she's happy with doing mentoring, even though in her toolbox, there might be different tools. Maybe there's a drill, maybe there's adhesive, but mentoring, coaching, almost like an athletic coach, seeing the physical attributes and movement of an athlete would say, huh, I think you have potential in these 3 areas. Let's begin with an improvement plan so that we could set the bar here. You can meet that goal, and then we can celebrate, and then we could create a new goal, and then you could meet it, and we could celebrate and do that from there. Therefore, building a stronger team by developing the individual. And for those reasons, I believe Jasmine has a great start, has a middle that can be developed, and the very end, yes, talk about how developing from within saves the company money. Jasmine, thank you so much. You have a strong beginning, a strong end. Let's just work on developing the middle. I'm going to take my seat now. And for the attendees, please stay on mute. Message me, the Zoom host, as if I were Jasmine. Go ahead and type out 3 sentences, what Jasmine did well, how Jasmine can improve, and whether or not you agree with my advice for her. There'll be a moment of silence for you to do that. I will go ahead and use my countdown. I will use my countdown, and we have 30 seconds. You can use the reaction button and raise your hand. All right, I see 3 hands on the screen. So I will erase this part. You will not be recorded and broadcast across LinkedIn because this is essentially a mock performance, and I am evaluating your HireMe speech, not in any way to embarrass you or to blast you. This is strictly so that you can benefit from instant feedback. So since I saw the hands raised in a certain order, Emily, you will go first. Tyrone, you will go second. Michaela, you will go third. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving feedback to the imaginary Daron and to the pretend Jasmine. When you write something down, you cement it into your long-term memory. And by evaluating Daron and Jasmine, you've actually helped yourself in being able to self-edit, to revise, to reiterate. On deck, we have Tyrone, and please welcome Emily. Everyone, please welcome Emily. And I will cut this out. We will not be broadcasting her practice. Please give a round of applause to Emily. Now let's take a moment, as we've done with the pretend Daron and the imaginary Jasmine. Go ahead and type in the chat, this time not to me, but to Emily. Type encouragement, what are her strengths, so that she knows what she's doing well to repeat in the job interview. And give her your tips for improvement. What do you see? We'll wait 10 seconds and then I will do my formal evaluation. All right, please give a round of applause for Emily. Emily, thank you for joining us this morning. Please excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of my hibiscus tea. Emily, this morning, I think you have adopted Daron and Jasmine's feedback and incorporated it into your own, because I have difficulty finding plot holes in your 3-minute HireMe speech. That's not to say there isn't room for improvement or variation. First of all, when you say that you want to decrease injuries at the workplace, at bread factories, that is something that immediately appeals to the hiring manager. Companies don't want to lose money. They don't want days where there's downtime to clean up after injuries. They don't want lawsuits. They also simply, for if they care about humanity at all, they will not want workers injured. So not only is your expression noble, it also can be quantified by dollar and cents. You are a professional at anticipating injuries along the assembly or factory line. You review tapes, you look at past injury records, and you talk to the supervisors in charge to know what is the repair plan. Emily, I would suggest for you that though your strength has been appealing to the company, the hiring manager across the desk, that you, if they hire you, they will have fewer accidents. When you say that, that is too big of a promise. That is, I'm not saying that you're lying, but I'm saying that is too much to put on one person's shoulders. I would like you to include how you've worked together with a team in order to reduce the potential of accidents. Accidents will still happen. So many factors are out of our control. However, maybe you could say, Emily, that you have worked with those in charge of writing up the reports for injuries. You have worked with HR and also the legal department in payouts. How many of those injured employees of the past have come back to work and been able to rise up to the original productivity with disability accommodations? Or has the company fired them, which is illegal and unethical? During an interview, you don't want to go in depth on legal issues, but you might want to scale back, reel in your promise when you talk to the hiring company. Show instead that you know it couldn't possibly be all on your shoulders. However, you contribute and you might be the lead facilitator on the team as, how do you put it? The OSHA specialist. Thank you so much, Emily. Please give her a round of applause. Do you agree with my advice? Do you disagree? What alternative suggestion do you have? Thank you so much. And next we will have Tyrone. And for the benefit of the new people who have just joined, our session is ending. We already have Emily, Tyrone, and the next person up. You can benefit even if you do not pitch live. You can benefit by hearing the evaluations and listening to the pitches, that we all agree we're all imperfect, we can all improve. Please welcome Tyrone. That concludes our Zoom session for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are interested in supporting those who have done their HireMe speeches and you're curious how their career job search goes, please do follow them on LinkedIn, direct message them, send them job leads, introduce them to hiring managers. And if you would like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram at StoryMC. Thank you so much and have a wonderful Valentine's Day. And you get the job that you deserve.